Hi everyone, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your weekly forecast for Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. We have strong, very heavy Mars energy, and it's very obvious in news stories and in our own lives, and it's going to get hotter. So let's figure out how we work with this. This is not doom and gloom astrology, but it's more like if you know that it's going to rain outside, you're not going to wear your best velvet or suede jacket. So in this case, we know there's heavy Mars, so we want to work with the energy to lay low when the aspects are difficult and channel the energy passionately and effectively. So Mars entered the cardinal fire sign of Aries on June 27th, and it will remain in Aries until January 6th of 2021. And Mars loves being in Aries. It's really very ambitious and fast moving, and cardinal signs are the signs that begin the season. So the spring equinox is when the sun enters 0 degrees of the cardinal sign of Aries. The summer solstice is when the sun enters the cardinal sign of Cancer, etc. for each season. And cardinal signs are the signs that launch and catalyze things. And we've had this historical lineup of planets in Capricorn since the very beginning of the year. Saturn, which is the ruler of the sign of Capricorn and represents our limitations, our karmic lessons, our goals, how we need to learn, what we need to glean lessons from, whether it's our karma of our actions or sometimes unconscious soul contracts we enter into, whatever that is in our lives. Saturn is the taskmaster of the zodiac, which reinforces where we need to focus our attention. Pluto is the ruler of the sign of Scorpio, and it's the planet of death and rebirth and ideally metamorphosis. And Saturn and Pluto met up on January 12th at 22 degrees of Capricorn. And anytime a planet gets to 22 degrees of a cardinal sign, it's at the world axis, which means that big world events happen, and it also hits the world at large, people on the world stage, but also each and every one of us, because it is the world. So the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And this conjunction happens approximately every 34 to 36 years. And they hadn't met up in the sign of Capricorn for over 500 years. So it's collapsing of old structures, it's death and rebirth, and renovating and repairing on a big global level and on an individual level. Now Mars in Aries, which it's been since June 27th, is kicking up this story in a big fashion. On August 4th, Mars squared Jupiter in the sky, and that was the day of the explosion in Beirut. On today, actually, Mars is exactly at 22 degrees of cardinal fire, and it's setting off that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. So all of us are feeling, we're probably getting more stories about what we've been dealing with since the very beginning of the year. Perhaps more information gets uncovered about the virus, about the economy, about all the restructuring we've been working on as a world, as a country, wherever you live, as a society, and in your own story. Obviously, these stories, aside from the virus, the pandemic, the economy, and all these other challenging things that have happened, it's been massive lockdown. That is Capricorn. But a lot of people have hustled and made things happen in spite of these limitations. And Mars is excellent in Aries. It loves being in Aries. And in the month of July, it was sailing ahead, moving, helping us propel our goals. Now it's going to be more difficult because it's clashing with planets that in themselves, Capricorn represents restriction, lockdown. Mars doesn't like being held back. But we know that this month, Mars is going to clash with all the Capricorn, and that's challenging, and people are going to get a lot more triggered, a lot more combative, and realistically a lot of people are functioning with some form of PTSD. And in depression itself is inverted anger, and I'm hearing a lot more about people struggling with depression, and isolation, and that's going to be a big theme for all of us, and how we deal with that, but not lash out at other people while we're dealing with that. And again, it's that, you know, if you know what the weather is going to be like, and if it's stormy, you try to co-create with it. So we're all going to be easily triggered with this energy. Mars actually got to 21 degrees of Aries yesterday, and I think it started to kick things up, definitely in news stories, but in our own lives. And on the 13th of August, Mars is squaring Pluto in the sky, and those are both the rulers of Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio in modern astrology, death and rebirth, and purging and releasing, and Mars rules Scorpio in ancient astrology. So Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. That is a combative aspect. That is an aspect of war. So we know that becomes exact on the 13th of August, but generally with Mars, we feel it a day before it kicks in. So we will feel that build up today and on the 12th. So get work done. Try to temper your own emotions as much as you're able, and be aware that others are easily triggered. We're all dealing with this energy. And over the weekend, we do have some helpful aspects. The Sun in Leo is going to trine Mars in Aries, and that's creative fire. And Mercury is transiting in Leo. That's the planet of communication and ideas and thoughts, and that's zipping ahead about 2 degrees a day in the sign of Leo. It's going to actually exit on August 19th, but over, let's see, on the 16th, it trines Mars in Leo. On the 17th, it meets up exactly with the Sun in Leo. That's excellent creative thinking, great for partnering with other people, great for romance, great for having fun. Those are days to target. On the 18th of August, we're going to have a beautiful new moon in Leo, and on that date, Venus in Cancer is forming a beautiful sextile to Uranus, and that is very creative, very innovative and inspired energy. So that's an excellent day on the 18th of August to target things, to set intentions, to do a new moon ceremony, and to partner with other people. This week leading up to that, these next couple of days, not so much. This is where you try to get things done, and you try to meditate more if you're able. Often when we need to meditate the most, we do it the least. Case in point right here. But I'm going to try to meditate right after this. And I think we just got to get through this. And we have to. I mean, with all this Capricorn, we have to be survivors. We have to help one another. And also know that on September 9th, Mars is going to retrograde at 28 degrees of Aries. That's going to be more difficult because it's going to spar again with all of these planets in Capricorn. But this time around in the fall, it's going to be retrograde. It's going to be very frustrating. And so we want to work this month while Mars is still direct, because it's going to be retrograde from September 9th until November 13th. And that will bring delays in many different ways. Mars is how we get things done. It's how we propel forward. So let's move forward as well as we can. Let's lay low when we need to, and let's co-create together. And I hope this week is okay. And looking forward to the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th when we have very creative aspects, and a lovely new moon on the 18th of August. And I will talk more about that new moon. So thank you very much, and take care.